As you all know, my new gen Saab 900 has a lot of little things it needs to be perfect, and today we're going to be tackling some of those little things. I've got a bunch of stuff here in my hands, as well as providing some updates for some of the other things that I've done off camera to the car. But let's get started first with this recent new problem that has become not really a big issue, but just an annoyance, and that is the failing hood strut. So I have two new hood struts. Let's start by getting these replaced. Real quick, in the garage, since I was a sponsor of SOC, I actually got this banner, and this goes super well right in this spot here. So did a little bit of redecorating here. Here's a look at a couple of the things we're going to be doing today. A lot of little things like the hood struts. I finally picked up a turbo badge for the front grille, so we'll be putting that on. I also have some genuine Saab caps for the 9.3 we'll throw on real quick. And then some license plate bulbs. And like I said, there's a couple other little things that I want to look into as well and give an update on how I fixed the radio. And lastly, I want to try and get the tachometer working because I got some ideas from some experts in the community on how to possibly fix that. But like I said, let's get started with these hood struts. Now thankfully hood struts are pretty easy to replace. I see these are Saab OEM ones, so these might be the original hood struts on this car, which if so, they're definitely due for replacing. But there's a little spring clip that goes inside or around the outside of the strut, and then that just pops off very easily. So we need to do the same thing on the bottom now. So our new struts, we can just pop right over. Just kind of raise the hood. And there we go. That one new strut alone has solved the issue, but of course you don't just want to replace one. So let's do the second one. Again, if you haven't done these before, they're the same on pretty much all cars, but there's just this little clip here. You can either completely remove it or pry it out enough to where that slides right off. And that's removed. And the new one, you can just clip it right in. Beautiful, look at that. Fantastic. One thing a lot of you pointed out to me, and I actually noticed shortly after I got this car, I had the same issue on my classic 900, and that is that the turbo badge that's supposed to be in the grille was missing. I'm not sure what's up with that, but we got one at SOC thankfully, and so we can remove the grille and let's get that installed. So there's these little tabs here. Just gotta squeeze that together. And that is that easy. Man, we are on a roll so far today. So here's our NG900 grill, and there are the two little pinholes where that needs to go through. There should be little clips on the back of these to help hold it in. This one, unfortunately, it was free. I can't complain. Shout out to the guy who gave me this. But it's not only a little bent, so I'm going to straighten this out in the vise real quick, but I don't have those little clips. So I got recommended to use like little number 2 pencil ends and crush them on there. I'm thinking I might try some hose clamps first, some tiny hose clamps since I have those handy. But let's see what works. First I need to straighten this one out. There's actually a little bit of an art to this almost because these pins bend very easily, so to get it at the right angle is a little tough. Like that looks pretty good right about there. I think we'll go with that. Clearly these hose clamps aren't going to work now that I'm getting a look at it. So what I've done instead, since I don't have number 2 pencil heads, is these are paper clips. I cut them in half and kind of wrapped them around the post. And so I'm going to just push it back onto here now. It's pretty tight on there, so I don't think I'm going to have to worry about it going anywhere. And then that should fix our attachment issue. Yep, that's not going anywhere. All right, let's get this back on. Next, let's tackle these license plate lights. And I just realized how high up this hatch goes. So Wow, okay, that's a little annoying. These lights are also pretty simple to replace. You can see there's two little Torx bits to take off the lens. One of these works, one of them doesn't. I'm just gonna replace them both so that way they match though. Well, the tripod actually does go up that high. Just a little flathead in there to pry that off. The bulbs just clip in there, so I got those installed. And now, stick these back in here. And that are the license plate bulbs replaced. Let's switch quickly to the NG93 because I want to put on these 3 genuine Saab caps. I just figured it would be fun to do in a video. 2 out of 3 of these are very easy. The brake cap and the oil cap, which is obviously my favorite. Oh, that looks so cool. And lastly, the coolant cap. Now the coolant cap is going to require a little bit of work because we have to pull this part out of the old cap and put it into the genuine Saab one. All right, that wasn't too bad. I essentially had to pry it out like this of the old cap, which was plastic, so it was a little easier, and then just kind of smash it into the new one almost, but I didn't break anything, so we're all good. Let's get this one installed too. All right, take a look at that. That's one way to dress up an engine bay. Super other quick little update. I fixed the wonky wiper linkage before this was pointed straight up at about 12 o'clock. Very easy to fix. There's just a little cap right there you pop off and a little nut, and then you can pull the wiper off and sort of reposition that. But yeah, that looks a whole lot better now. A car doesn't look goofy anymore. Let's now talk about the radio for a bit of a story time, some work I've done off camera. So when I got this car, I mentioned that the radio didn't work. Obviously kind of frustrating, made me not really want to drive the car a ton. I'd have to play music out of my phone speaker, not ideal. And so there's a few tests you can do. For example, there is a fuse on the back here that you can look at and check that fuse was fine. Tech 2 gave me no codes for it, so I figured I'd just try a new head unit. Thankfully, a subscriber in the Midwest shipped me out a new head unit, and I put that in, put the radio code in, and it seems to be working. Now, I also went ahead, the new radio I got from the subscriber for some reason didn't have this top plate, and also this is the faceplate off it. You can see the faceplate was kind of gross. So faceplate very easily just pops off. So what I did is I popped the faceplate off my old radio, which is this one, and put it onto the new radio because this faceplate looks a whole lot better. Which of course you can see radio is working. Only issue that you can probably see here is these knobs. Now I'm actually hoping you guys can help me out with this. On my old radio, this one here, it had 5 perfect knobs, and so I figured I would swap those onto this, which has all cracked and then 1 missing knob. However, these knobs have this little half moon shape, and so those are unfortunately different than the ones on my old radio, which are these style. So I can't just swap these over, so I'm hoping that if any of you have a set of those spare knobs, preferably in the US, please DM me on Instagram or email me. I'd love to get them off you because this is a bit of an eyesore to look at. But now let's tackle our next issue, which is this pesky tachometer. So quick explanation on this as well before we get into it. The tachometer works, I'd say maybe about 3% of the time I drive this car. I'll hit a big bump, it'll come on, and then it'll shut off randomly. Earlier this morning when I was driving it, the RPM just kind of went up and then it just died and never came back on. So I don't know quite what's up with it. I've gotten some tips from some very knowledgeable people in the community that there could just be a loose pin in the back of the connector on this. So I'm really hoping that that is our issue. You can see absolutely nothing. So unfortunately, it looks like we got to start taking all this apart to get this thing out, but fingers crossed we can get this fixed. Let's get started. It took me a few minutes to get the instrument panel off. There's a variety of switches and knobs and everything you have to take out, as well as the SID, the radio, etc. And then there's a few screws holding that in. So I went ahead, got all of that removed, which gave me access to the instrument cluster. So when I got the instrument cluster out, following my Haynes manual, I saw that there's a red-green wire that essentially leads to that tachometer. So I couldn't see anything on that wire that indicates that it was seated the whole way into the connector. The pin on the cluster side looked completely fine. I tried to take apart the cluster a little bit, and it's just a very complicated mess of boards and resistors, etc. that's way beyond my capability. Another recommendation I got was to turn the car on, push up on the plug to see if that changes anything. That unfortunately didn't. So here we are. Well, unfortunately, I can't seem to get this issue fixed. So I think I might need a new cluster after talking to a couple people. Bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I need to get this whole mess put back together, but nonetheless, we still got a few important things done in this video, so pretty happy with that. I just got a whole new shipment of more parts arrived. So there's a ton more to do on this car, that's for sure. So I'll see you again very soon for another video. If you have any other suggestions on this cluster problem, let me know down below in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.